What's up, everybody? We back. R2C2, another week. What's good, bro?
Well, if you're distracted during this episode, it's just because you're trying to remember who you're supposed to text.
Jeez,
so if for the audience, if they're noticing like, wow, C doesn't seem all there, he's just trying to recall who he's supposed to send a text to.
I really am. Like I was just 2 seconds ago, like about to have my phone out, about to text somebody, and was just like, who am I about to talk to? But right.
Well, you know what? If you think of it, just text them, and let us know when you do remember.
That's horrible.
Let me tell you something, man. Daddy daycare is so much harder than my paid for career job. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's a joke how much harder it is. It's a joke. Now, I
was it a hard day? Did you have a hard day, hard week, or something? Or?
It was a hard day, man. It was a hard day. It was. I had multiple doctor's appointments today, which, when you take a baby to the doctor alone, it's a task in itself, Yes. But when you do multiple, like it's like
you take a baby anywhere alone, it's a task.
That's
anywhere.
True.
Anywhere.
That's true. It's true. And like, oh my gosh, I'm walking out and I'm like the bag lady. I have like I literally walking out of the apartment. I've got my like man purse strapped in front, the diaper bag as a backpack in back. I had to bring a separate bag with potential formula because because of the time I had to go to this specialist, like if he's fine, by the way, but like I was like, I wasn't going to get back to be able to feed her here. Then the schedule's all screwed up because she's going to the doctor in the middle of when she's supposed to be napping. Oh my gosh. But what's hilarious to me is I'm in the doctor's and this nurse was very kind and she was like, which all nurses are. They're literally 99.9% of nurses should immediately qualify for sainthood.
Yeah,
they're just amazing people. But she walks in and I'm like getting Evie ready for the doctor, and she's like, we don't get many dads here, and let me say, you are knocking it out of the park. And I was like, thank you. Like, I really appreciate that. But then I thought about it and I'm like, as much as like I appreciate that attaboy and that pump up, I'm like, it is absolutely criminal that we just take for granted a woman doing all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure 95% of the women or the people coming in there who are women, she's not saying, it's just like expected. You know what I mean? Like, that they're doing it, right? But like, if there's a dad there, it's like, holy shit, you were able to change the diaper. Anyway, just more appreciation for moms.
Oh my gosh, bro. Doctor's appointment, like taking a kid anywhere is tough, but doctor's appointments really like suck, to be honest.
Because it's also like, you put them in the stroller. It's a cold day. They're in layers. By the way, now can you please get them out of the layers?
Out of the
Strip
layers.
them down to the diaper. Yeah. Like, you could put them back in. Like, now you're here for a half hour. They probably just went to the bathroom again. Changed the diaper for a second time in the doctor's. Like, nap time. I tried to get back on schedule with nap time. Everly was not feeling it. She was not feeling it. She became a part of my production call for the Sue doc. She was the fifth member of our call because it's so funny, man, because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I always, because of that, had such an appreciation for seeing how hard that is, and I know it's different at different ages and there are different responsibilities, but it's such an amazing, incredibly, monumental task that, I always was sensitive to people like thinking that, if you're going to a job, that's obviously way harder. It's like, no, it's not.
No, not at all. Especially when you don't get any breaks. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's just kids all day, that's tough. That's way harder than any full-time job for sure.
100%. Van Gundy earlier this season. Did I tell you this story?
Mm-mm.
So in the beginning of the season, when Evie was real young, I had a lot of travel because like WNBA playoffs is kind of when I'm traveling the most, and it spilled right into start NBA season, right? And one of my early trips with Van Gundy, he's like, "How's Andrea doing?" Whatever. I was like, "She's good, but it's been a lot on her alone, like I haven't, I've been traveling so much. It's been like 4 or 5 out of 7 days she's been alone with an 1-month-old, 2-month-old, whatever it was." And he's like, "Let me give you some advice. No matter what city you're in, it's a cloudy, rainy day." He's like,
yeah.
He's like, what's it like there, honey? I don't care if it's 78 in Miami. It's kind of a gross day here. He's like, you don't ever act like you're someplace beautiful while she's alone with the kids at home, ever.
Or having fun. Having fun.
No fun. No fun. And now that I'm doing daddy daycare, I could appreciate that even more. Like, because if she was calling me like, "Oh, I just had the most amazing dinner, I got a massage," I'd be like, "Whoa, let's pull back." But his other thing was, he said when he would get home, like his wife Kim used to always do this symbol, like I'm punching out, and he was like, he knew like when he got home, he had to be ready to go. Like, no matter anything he needed to take care of on the road, sleep-wise, whatever, once he was walking through the door, it was time to take over.
It's on. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Like, so I don't know how you and Amber did it with 4. My gosh, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. I mean, and it's all on Amber a lot, But I was the doctor. Like, I always took the kids to the doctor. Because like with shots and stuff and all of that stuff. So I was always going to the doctor, so I understand that pain. But yeah, I mean, when you have multiple kids though, especially as they start getting older, they take care of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like not take care of themselves, but they entertain themselves. Like,
and they entertain each other too?
They entertain each other. So it's a little less work. But now, you just turn into an Uber driver. So it just shifts as they get older.
Yeah. It's funny because it's even greater than the amazingness that everyone portrays it as. Like I just love it. Like I love being a dad, and I love my daughter more than anything. That is true while also being like, oh my gosh, it's such a difficult job. It's such a difficult job. It really is. So God bless all the parents out there, because you guys are really doing God's work. So see, I gotta say, man, have we been treated to some unbelievable football or what?
Man,
this has been,
it's been some good playoff games, man. And, this week didn't disappoint either. Watching the Bengals go into Arrowhead, come back from 18 down, which was crazy, man. When the Chiefs didn't score at the end of the half, Amber looked at me. She was like, "Was that bad?" I was like, "That was fucking horrible. Like, that's going to come back to bite them." Just because of the way everything was playing out and the way that Cincinnati was getting pressure late in the second quarter, like, I just felt like if they stopped them right there, then they would have a chance. And man, they ended up stopping them, because I thought they should have kicked the field goal.
Yeah.
They should have just kicked the field goal right there. You know what I'm saying? When it was 5 seconds left and all of that, like, just kick the field goal, take the points, and then you get the ball at halftime. Like, I thought that was the biggest mistake. And I just think I think about the Chiefs, right? And they are so close to being a dynasty, but they just get greedy, cuz.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mahomes that throw at in overtime, like what are you doing? He's double covered. Like, they get greedy at times, and that shit just been coming back to bite them lately, And when they play the smart game, take what underneath and dink and dunk and run the offense, that's when they're at their best now. It's not those big chunk yards that they're trying to get a couple years ago, and they got these big bombs and all these big time plays. They have to take what's underneath, and they have a hard time doing that, and even have a hard time taking points, guys. Like, they wanted a touchdown over a field goal, so they get greedy, and I think that's what's kind of fucked them in this dynasty. Like, it's been crazy.
Yeah, you're right. That halftime stop, because the Bengals it felt like they were gaining a little momentum, right? The fact that they put up that touchdown at the end of the second quarter, and you're like, okay, all right. And then when they, I thought for sure, I was like, okay, Kansas City's just going to go right down the field with how quickly they got into Bengals territory. And I understand the desire to get a touchdown because they put themselves in position so quickly in field goal range that they did get greedy. But once they didn't get in on that whatever down it was, second down play or whatever.
Second down play, yeah.
First of all, I was already like, I don't know if you can run another play. You might have to just kick the field goal. But I was like, if you're gonna run another play, it has got to be a pass to the end zone. No question. For them to you cannot not get at least 3 there.
Because then you're up by 3 touchdowns, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're up by 21 at that point. Like, no matter, like, you have to kick a field goal. Like, it really even makes no sense to score. Like, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world to try to score a touchdown, but then once you don't and you only have 5 seconds left, like, it makes no sense not to kick the field goal. Like, you go up by 3 fucking touchdowns, guys. Nobody's coming back from that.
Well, it was 21-10, right? So wouldn't it have made it 24-10?
It was, I'm thinking it was 21-3. It was 21-10 because they had scored right before that. Yeah. They had just scored.
But still,
they had just scored. But still, so you still go up by 2 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
It's still it's 24-10. You up by 14 instead of 11. Like, I don't know. It was just,
and then that fallacy, the predetermined outcome. But like then that field goal at the end, which tied it, could have been a field goal.
Could have been a field goal
win
to
it.
Yeah.
You never know. But the point is, in a playoff game, you can't. It's one thing if it was like, look, if it was a first and goal on the half-yard line or something like that, and but it wasn't, and you had to get points there, and see, I mean, it felt like it had a psychological effect, right? Because the Bengals finally got a stop, and so they go into halftime off a score and a very like surprising stop, and I think that changed. It just changed the entire momentum.
Nah, it did, and I mean, yeah, it's just weird that like Kansas City gets hurt when they try to be greedy. Like that's that football team is complete. They had, they played a good game on Sunday, but they just got greedy, and that's what's been costing them. Early in the season, trying to get 2 big chunk plays and score on 4 plays instead of having a long drive. Like, and I think that's what's kind of hurting them and not them turning into a dynasty because. Now, I mean, you give Cincinnati all this momentum. I mean, you got Herbert. You got all these different quarterbacks, these young quarterbacks in the AFC. It sounds crazy, but I feel like Kansas City's window might have just shut yesterday, cuz. Like, that could be it, cuz. Like, that could be it. It sounds crazy, but it could be.
When you say that, it doesn't sound crazy to me because I think one thing I've appreciated more and more as I've, been a sports fan and worked in the business is tomorrow isn't guaranteed, it's not. And there are plenty of examples where a team got to the brink and you thought like, oh, they're young, they'll get back, and they just don't. Because I'll never forget David Cohn on the field after you guys lost Game 7 in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And he said in Houston, the ALCS, and he was like, yes, this was already a surprising season. This was a successful season. You surpassed expectations. But this was still an opportunity. You still had 2 games to win 1 to go to the World Series.
Yes.
And you didn't, and nothing's guaranteed. And I always think about that because obviously, and you were a part of that group for a couple more years, they still haven't been back, right? And if you think about it, think about football examples, think about even the Seahawks, right?
I was about to say that Seahawks team, yep.
Right? Like, and they won one, and then they got to as close as you can to winning another one with the, Russell interception on that ridiculous play call instead of giving the ball to Lynch. They haven't been back since. And everyone thought like they got an all-time quarterback. They have a great young core. They haven't
The
been
defense
back.
is great. Remember? There was the defense was unbelievable. Like, oh, they're young, they'll be back. They haven't been back. Like, they hadn't even been close.
Nope. They haven't been back. And I think it's also what makes what Tom Brady did even more impressive is when you see how another guy that comes to mind, a guy like Aaron Rodgers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when Aaron Rodgers won his first Super Bowl, if you would have said then like that guy's never winning another Super Bowl again. Has he even played in another Super Bowl since then? Yeah. If you would have said that guy is not getting back to the Super Bowl for the rest of his career, you've been like, are you Joe? Of course he is. But the reality is it's not a given. It's just not
hard, man.
So it's a missed opportunity for the Chiefs because they know that they shouldn't have blown a 21-3 lead at home. And and you're right. See, it's not just that; it's that the competition closes in on you. It's not just everybody's the same the next year and they have a chance. Chiefs will still be great because they have Mahomes, but these other teams are for real.
Yeah, and I'm not even trying to be funny because they're in the Super Bowl, but Cincinnati is not even as good as they're going to be in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
This ain't even like the complete version of them. This ain't even like with Joe Burrow's, like, he ain't even like scratched the surface yet, guys. Like, and I don't know. I've always loved that dude, watching him at LSU, and I just think the sky's the limit for him in that franchise with him and Jamar Chase being able to do what they're doing and being in the Super Bowl already is insane, because it's insane that they're in the Super Bowl. But I don't think anybody that, like, if you watched them, you was like, they could make this run, you know what I'm saying? But, like, to actually see them do it and see him do it in his second year is crazy.
What's the thing that impresses you most about Burrow?
I think just his leadership. Like, you can see that the guys like playing with him or playing for him and playing with him. And that he don't panic, man. Like, he's out there changing plays, running the offense. Like, he's a vet already, cuz, like, it's I don't know, he's at a different level, and I think you can see it right away when he's out there.
Yeah, man. That's why when people try and like sell me on a Daniel Jones or
that's what I be telling y'all, man.
I know, which I was wrong about. Like now maybe he could evolve into a competent quarterback.
No, but you can't. A competent quarterback is just good enough to lose, cuz, like,
yeah, I mean, you're right.
None of these quarterbacks that were that played this weekend were competent quarterbacks. They were all fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, the best in the league. Like, except for Jimmy G, and that's why they fucking lost.
Right. I mean, and if you look at Burrow, you just watch him and you're like, oh yeah, that guy, yeah, he's got it. You know, like, and when you have those guys, they win. It's amazing how they elevate everyone else. Like, they just win, and they turn, you know, they give the guys around them confidence, and all of a sudden a decent player becomes a pretty good player, and a pretty good player becomes a good player, and a good player becomes a very good player, and a very good player becomes a great player because they're like, I got that guy, you know? Yeah. And it's like, it's amazing, man. I mean,
and the way it's all set up now, the league, like, you can't hit the quarterback in certain spots, and like Chris Jones had Joe Burrow a couple of times where 10 years ago he could have crushed him. You know what I'm saying? Like, put his helmet up under his chin, up under his face mask, and like really hit him. But you can't do that anymore to the quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So your quarterback, I'm telling you, your quarterback has to be your best player, or else your team will not win the Super Bowl, guys. Just look at the Niners. The Niners are probably still they're better than the Rams because they just don't have a quarterback that can execute when it's time to fucking put it on the line. That's all it is. But they're a better team to me.
Yeah. I agree. And I will say, very nice job by myself being strategic with my picks. Because if you ask me honestly, remember I said, I think Kansas City's the one I would have given my 4-pointer to. Yep. But I wanted to differentiate to give myself a shot in the picks. I did. The Rams won. Niners lost. That was my 4, your 2.
And now
you lost both.
I don't know who to pick in the Super Bowl. Like, I don't know
you know what? And I
pick.
realized, see, we don't have to pick Super Bowl yet
No,
until
till
next week.
Yeah.
But the way the picks are now, C has 13 points, I have 12. So it's up for grabs because what we'll do, like last year, I believe last year, C, we did the game, but then we also did MVP as bonus, I think. So we will do a little bonus as well in case we pick the same team so that there's something still at stake. I don't know which team I'm going to pick yet either. But so you're only up 1 point on me now, so it's up for grabs.
It was incredibly frustrating to watch the Bengals still keep running the ball too. Like on first down, like they keep running the ball. Every play was like 2nd and 9, 3rd and 7. And then Joe Burrow was scrambling like a big throw or like a big run. I'm like, stop running the fucking ball on first down. And like, give me a play action or something, like throw a bomb. But like, they stuck with it and it paid off for them. And shit was crazy, man. It was a good game to watch though.
You know what's funny? And then though, when they ran in overtime, they couldn't be stopped.
They could not be stopped. Yeah.
Then all of a sudden the run worked. But
they were getting chunks.
It's very interesting because Mahomes he's clearly has all the tools to be the greatest quarterback of all time. But, so did Aaron Rodgers. And he didn't win enough to get that title. Tom Brady, you wouldn't have thought just like watching him, he'd ascend to that, but he accomplished so much that he made it obvious. Mahomes still has time, but he will look at this year, maybe to a lesser degree, the loss against Tampa in the Super Bowl because there are injuries in the offensive line and whatever. But he will definitely look at this year as a missed opportunity.
Absolutely. I think they all will. And maybe we'll point back to this and be like, look at like Seattle. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Could be. You could.
It could be. But that throw and catch that him and Tyreek did, like to hook up on that first touchdown.
Oh.
The sidearm throw, like a bullet, and then Tyreek being able to hold on to that shit was wild, bro.
It's crazy. It's just ridiculous, man.
The shit that he's able to do out on the field is insane, cuz.
You know what I was thinking about? Like, I'm so into the Bengals right now. Like, they're really good, and I'm so happy for them and what they've accomplished. And I probably will be rooting for them in the Super Bowl just to see Joe Burrow, finish this off. But this is where the NFL is amazing. Like, how many sports could you have the equivalent of the Bengals and the Rams in the Super Bowl and be like jazzed up for it? Like if I told you're going to have the Reds and the Angels in the World Series, I'm sorry, only
Nobody's
the dedicated and the dedicated are watching. Yeah.
Or even like if it's like Charlotte and if in basketball, if it's Charlotte and Utah. Nobody's watching that final. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly. And like we would love it, but like it ain't happening, but this thing's going to get its, 46 rating or whatever the heck it's going to do. And it's crazy.
It just tells you what America's sport is now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's football. And they do a great job because it's the easiest to watch on TV, too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They do a great job. It's a great TV sport. And they do a great job with the broadcast and the telecast and all of that shit. So they've killed it with the TV and the TV market and being able to bring it to the living room. And it's a lot more fun to watch it in your house with your friends and hang out and talk shit than it is to go to the stadium. I'm telling you.
It's the perfect TV sport.
Man.
It really is. Like, I'll always take being at the event rather than not, especially if it's a game I really like my team, but football's the one that presses me the most to stay home. Like, especially if you told me a day like yesterday, I could go to one of those games where I could sit home, watch both, not be like, when you're at a football game, there's a lot of downtime in between plays and stuff like that.
Unless you're in the suite, because football game sucks. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like if you're not in, like what A-Rod did out there,
fun though, man.
Like what A-Rod did out there in Lambeau, that shit is trash. It looked cool on Instagram for 3 seconds. But he was fucking freezing, cuz.
How long did he stay out there? How long
just for the Instagram clip, cuz. He wasn't out there
for like 3 minutes, maybe, and then he got his ass back.
And his face was already fucking red, cuz.
Man. Oh,
he was out there for 5 fucking minutes, cuz. 5 minutes. And then when he got back to the suite, he was like, that fucking sucked. 1,000%.
I remember one of those games I felt that way is Giants-Eagles, the year after they won the Super Bowl, post Plaxico shooting himself, when remember they were the Giants were so good that year. The year after they won the Super Bowl, they were even better than the year they won the Super Bowl.
In 2008?
Yeah, they were so dominant in that regular season. And then they hosted the Eagles in the divisional round, and they were awful. And they lost. And I was sitting in I was sitting way, 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 way up. It was freezing. I took the bus in from Port Authority. I was waiting for the bus after the loss. My toes are frozen. I got sick after. And I'm just like, what for, man?
So you can see your Eli Manning, cuz. That's why.
I know. When your team wins, there's nothing better. When your team loses, you're like, I should have gone to bed. But that's why sports is great, because for all the heartache and the losses and, when you win, it's like, that was worth it, and I'm happy for the Bengals. I'm happy for those fans. I'm happy for Mike Brown and that ownership group. I'm really happy for that organization that they're getting this opportunity.
It'll be interesting to see the AFC North, right? Like the Browns suck. The Browns are the Browns. But the Steelers, aren't ever very far off. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to draft a quarterback. The organization's great. They'll be back up in a year or two. And then you still got Lamar Jackson over there. It's going to be a fun division to watch. You know what I'm saying? In the next couple of years, almost like the AFC West where you got Herbert and you got the Raiders when they're good, and then you got Mahomes. That's a loaded conference at AFC North.
Have you ever gone to a Ravens game in Baltimore?
I have not. No, I haven't.
It's a great atmosphere, man.
Is it?
It's a great atmosphere, yeah.
I've been to their practice facility and checked that out, but I haven't been to a game. Yeah, I haven't been to a game.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. Before I transferred to Fordham, I went 1 year at Loyola and in Maryland, and I went to a couple games, and it was terrific, man. The atmosphere. Actually, if you remember, there was that legendarily pathetic Eli performance his rookie year at Baltimore. I was at that game in my Giants stuff.
It was a lot of legendary, pathetic Eli performances, guys.
There was also 2 rings, baby. There was 2 rings.
So you pointing that out is not that's not pinpointing the game.
Hey, I'll take the 2 rings from my guy. I need nothing else. That's the thing. As a Giants fan, you've been able to suffer through just how ghastly the last decade has been
because you got 2 rings.
Had 2 rings in a 5-year period, So it's like, okay, that's all right. I can't. If you're the Jets, it's a different story.
As a Giants fan, does it piss you off that Odell's haven't had a good game last night and is back in the Super Bowl or
not at all? I was rooting for him.
Not back in the Super Bowl, but in the Super Bowl.
I don't regret, and I didn't regret at all. The Giants trading him. I thought, for the most part, that has, that has not hurt the Giants. Odell has been, for the most part, a non-factor since then. But
no, that's a lie. The last 8 weeks he's been killing, cuz.
Since then, up until this little,
well, that wasn't his fault. His quarterback fucking sucked.
Well, he was hurt a ton too.
His quarterback was trash, guys. He was hurt because his quarterback was trash. And then when Siegel put in the group chat, if his dad never puts the highlights out, he never gets traded, and then he's never in the fucking Super Bowl.
Hey,
so now we got to thank his dad, cuz.
But I will say, I root for him. He's the most talented offensive player in the history of the New York Giants.
Man.
And he's a lot, but when he's on, man, he's an electric player, and I was actually happy to see him playing so well.
Man, he was huge, and he made some big time catches, cuz, and he has down the stretch. That
comeback was great too, and I'm happy for Stafford too. Stafford at Detroit all those years, and now he gets his chance, and it's and it's a good lesson, right? When you think a guy, look, there are some guys who they're going to win no matter who they're around, no matter what, Steve Kerr talks about this in the NBA. He says there's 15 guys who dictate their circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else, like in Andrew Wiggins, needs the right things around them, and then they can be really impactful. Matthew Stafford's one of those guys.
Yep.
He's not going to be able to take you to the promised land alone the way maybe a Patrick Mahomes can or a Joe Burrow, but he's really good. And if you put the right things around him, then he can. And it's for me, I'm happy for him that he's getting to prove that.
Yeah, I'm happy. The Rams are a real good feel good story. You know what I'm saying, with Odell and Stafford, and then you got the Bengals, the young up and coming team. So For me, I really don't. I mean, I think it's just going to be a great game. And to me, it doesn't matter who wins. I think they both need it. Like, I think Stafford, it'd be great to watch Stafford get a ring after all those years in Detroit. And it'd be great to see Cincinnati or that state of Ohio celebrate any kind of championship, guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anything that Ohio can get and you know, get a parade out of it, I think it'd be great. So it's going to be a fun Super Bowl in a couple weeks.
Oh, I can't wait, man. It's one of those games, too, and this is kind of how I felt, honestly, watching the championship games because I liked every team that was left, where I kind of, like, am able to, like, root for who's down to make it a good game, you know?
Yeah.
Like when the Rams were down, I was like, all right, I'm rooting for the comeback. You know, when the Bengals were down, I was rooting for the comeback. You know, then I wanted the Chiefs to tie it up. Then I wanted the Bengals to win it. You know, I was like, the only thing I didn't want was the Chiefs to score on the first possession of overtime.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I didn't want.
Yeah. What's crazy is like the 49ers losing is better for my Instagram. Like for my memes I can post on my friends' Instagram. It's a lot better when the 49ers lose because all my friends are 49er fans.
That's what you need. That's really what you need. Speaking of Instagram, you only have about 13 days to watch the pilot for One Tree Hill and Instagram story about it.
Instagram story about it.
So to pay off last year's bet. So are you any closer to making this happen?
Nah, I told you I'm waiting for Saya. Whenever she tells me. Yeah, whenever she tells me she can watch it, then whenever she's got the time, then we're going to watch it. But it will be before the Super Bowl for sure.
Okay, yeah, because you know if it's not, then you have to watch the full first season. That's the upgraded
that's
take.
the trade-off.
Yeah, that is. Now, see, we got to figure out what the bet is for this year. And last year, people came up with some great stuff. I think we should have them do it again.
Yeah, we should have people come up with some stuff on the Twitter.
Yeah.
On the Twitter. I sound like an old man right there.
Well, you know.
On the Twitter.
On the Twitter. If you, by the time, like, you know, my daughter is 10, it's going to be the Twitter. Yeah,
it's going to be the Twitter for us. Like,
it's going to be,
I can't even imagine what she's going to be walking around with, guys.
Hopefully social media is dead and never comes back. By then.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to be like, man, I'm going to be just like, I'm going to be like Amish.
No, if you only have one kid, she's the oldest. So you can wait. You can set the rule to whatever.
Yeah.
Like when little C was coming up, like he couldn't get a phone till he was 13.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
So you can, with the oldest, you can set the number and then that's you can say fucking 16 if you want.
Rule? Have you kept the 13-year-old
it got younger and younger.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Carson
then
was 13.
They say, well, my friend had, right?
Jaden was 12. Saya was 10, cuz. And Carter. They were both 10 years old when they had phones.
I'd be nervous giving Carter a phone at 10, man.
Oh, my God, bro. but Carter and Saya are also, they are like really, really, really rich kids. It sounds crazy, but Saya was born in the offseason. We came here. You know what I'm saying? So she knows nothing other than
this
like
life?
us having a lot of money. so little C and Jaden kind of had like a normal childhood. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't as like Saya never flew on a regular plane until she was like 6 or 7 years old, cuz.
Oh my gosh. Can you sense the difference in the kids?
Oh, absolutely. The two youngest are like, I mean, they're money driven. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
And the two oldest can care less. They can care less about money or things or anything.
That's really funny, man. That's really funny.
It's crazy.
I hope that my future kids know the Saya and Carter life, but I
want to come back as them. They lived it. I don't want to come back as the player. I want to come back as the player's kids, guys. Like, it's no pressure in that.
It's a good life. Let's PJ to Turks and Caicos. Come on.
Exactly. That's the life I want.
Oh my gosh. Seriously. So, all right, let's get people on the Twitter to tweet at R2C2 at is your CC underscore Sabathia?
Yeah.
Yeah. At CC underscore Sabathia and at Ryan Ruocco. You guys tweeted us what you think our bet should be for this year's Super Bowl picks. We'll reveal who we chose next week, who gave us the best option, and then we'll make our picks next week on R2C2. And see, what do you think? Should the person who comes up with the best thing, should we give them like
we should give them
pair of
something.
Cleats, something? Yeah. What do you want to give them? A signed pair of cleats?
Yeah, I got extra shoes for sure.
Okay, so we'll send a signed pair of cleats out. a CC signed pair of cleats. I mean, I could sign those things if you want to, but CC is the signature you really want on them. Of C's to whoever comes up with the best idea, the idea that we choose for what our bet is going to be for this year's picks. With CC 13, me 12. So it's very much in play going into the Super Bowl. See, there's still some murkiness about this, but it seems like he probably just wants to be the one to announce it officially. What do you think about TB12 hanging it up, man?
Shocked.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. But, yeah, it seems like he wants to be the one to announce it, right? Like he wants to probably got some kind of Instagram video or some fucking movie or something that he's premiering that he wants to announce it on. But, nah, I mean, it's crazy. It's shocking that he's retiring. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought it would. I don't know. I didn't know when he would retire. I didn't have an idea. I thought it would be like an injury or something. And maybe that's the way he don't want to go out that way. And not being able to move around as much and, almost being 45 years old, that you become a target sitting back there. And watching Big Ben this year, bro, he took some shots, cuz.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to see Brady doing that. It was hard for me to watch Big Ben a lot this year because he was just taking some real fucking hits, and you don't want to see Brady going out like that. It's kind of how Brett Favre went out, too, taking some big shots in that Saints game. So, I mean, kudos to him for being able to step away. I don't know. I don't see it. Until he says it, then I'll believe it.
It's so interesting because any 44-year-old, you're not surprised if they retire, but with him you are, and that speaks to his greatness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that, he has really, in a lot of ways, revolutionized fitness, nutrition, pliability, longevity in this sport to the point that we all not only believed he could keep playing, but he was still playing at such a high level that we just expected him to keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's stunning. If you really think about it, that is stunning that he was at that level. But he is.
He could be the MVP this year.
Yeah, he could. He could, which is great. He led the league in passing yards. He led the league in touchdowns. And see, maybe there's a part of him, too, that's like, you know what? I know I can still do it. Let me leave now while I know I still can. Right? Like, did you feel that at all? Because you still could get guys out when you retired. Did you take some solace in knowing, all right, I'm not like on my last thread. I'm not getting shelled out here. I'm still a useful member of this team, and I'm glad I'm leaving that way?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's how every athlete wants to see themselves go out. It never really happens like that.
Yeah.
But to have a little left in the tank and still be satisfied, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
there's one thing to still have a little left in the tank and then not be satisfied, feel like you still need something to do out on the field. Like, there's obviously nothing that Tom Brady needs to do on a fucking football field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to be able to have one of your best seasons at 44 years old, lead the league in passing and touchdowns, and then just say, fuck it, I'm done. Like, that's some boss shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's some Tom Brady shit, to be honest. Peyton Manning went out, like, he couldn't fucking throw a football anymore. Like, they won that Super Bowl because they was handing it off to C.J. Anderson and that defense. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, it would have been, the Tampa Bay Bucks would have won the Super Bowl this year because of Tom Brady. Yeah. And for him to be able to walk off in that light, I mean, he's literally the greatest ever. Like, there's nothing else to say about the guy, cuz. Like, but just know that he's still walking. It's like Mo. Like, just know that Mo can still get outs in a big league game right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of an aura, like an aura to those athletes that can still fucking do it. Barry Bonds. Like, you put Barry Bonds in a game right now, I bet you he fucking walks 3 times and then gets a pitch and goes deep. Like, he's just that guy. Like, Tom Brady's that guy, cuz. Like, even MJ didn't go out like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
you're right.
It takes a special type of athlete to be able to fucking walk away at the height. Not even at the height, just when you're still at your best.
And not at the age of Barry Sanders, right? Not at, I don't know, what was Barry?
30,
29, 30,
yeah,
31?
31 maybe?
Yeah. Not at 31.
Megatron, same thing, 31, 32 years old. Yeah.
This dude is walking away at the top of his game at 44. Think about that. Like, it's so insane. And by the way, see, it's just funny because I was talking about how you still were a contributor, but I'm also then neglecting the fact that you
Rip my shoulder.
rip your shoulder off on your final pitch, but
Yeah.
but you had at least decided mentally before the season you're retiring and made it known before that happened. We all know that you started to have second thoughts with how well you were pitching out of the bullpen, but yeah, your shoulder made it end
Made
up
the decision.
moot. But like the greatness, I always used to say this, like true greatness is I know you're great, but I still feel compelled to say it out loud as I watch you. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt watching Mariano Rivera. Obviously, I knew he was great. I watched him his whole career. He's amazing. He was so great that I couldn't sit there and not say it. It's how I felt watching Derek Jeter as well. I'm just like, my gosh, this guy's great. When you watch him every day, that's Tom Brady's greatness. And then to be so good that there's a unified consensus on you being the greatest of all time. Wow. I mean, that's how you know you're special. That nobody's out here trying to argue anybody else for greatest player of all time when it comes to NFL history. That's how unquestioned his accomplishments are. That's true greatness. He's true greatness.
It's crazy, too, because it puts a lot of pressure on, like, Mahomes. It puts a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers, to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Like, standard that's here.
Are you going to take care of your body like this guy to be able to go out and be that great for that long? You know what I'm saying? Or are you going to, like, sit here like us and do podcasts and talk shit and just go into your body? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, he set the standard. So there's a lot of pressure on these guys coming behind him that are considered some of the best ever. Because Aaron Rodgers considered one of the best ever. They already considering Patrick Mahomes one of the best ever. So, I mean, these guys got to play into their 40s.
I think Tom Brady, too, and I heard Alan Hahn talking about this today on Barton Hahn on ESPN Radio, and I thought he I won't word it as eloquently as he did, but I thought he made a really good point about the last, because he's a big Jets fan, and so he rooted against Brady forever. He said the last 2 years when he was free from sort of the hamstringing when it comes to media stuff of New England gave Tom Brady this avenue to likability that maybe he wasn't able to access when he was with the Patriots,
Well, that's not true. But that's just New Yorkers. You guys hate Tom Brady.
But I don't anymore, and I used to.
Because you was a New Yorker. Well, you don't hate him anymore because he went to Tampa and he's out of Boston.
Gotcha. Okay.
People outside of New York, the tri-state area, really like Tom Brady because it was just you guys.
Okay, but he kind of used to be like smug and
just
whatever.
Just to you guys, cuz everybody always liked this guy. I don't know.
You think so?
Yes, I do. I honestly do. I think people really like Tom Brady outside of the tri-state area.
I think going to Tampa helped his Q rating everywhere.
For you guys.
I don't know. I think for everywhere. Because I think also like the fact that then he won without Belichick, there was like this added level of respect too. But he's like, I listened to his whole Howard Stern interview after he went to Tampa at the beginning of the pandemic. It was so good. Like he said, I listened to him with Dak Shepard. That's one I really would love for us to do, see.
Tom Brady?
Do you think we can make that one happen?
We could probably make that happen.
He's got some. We could fly down to Tampa. We could do the interview at St. Petersburg. He's got some really, just like I love all his TB12 stuff too. His protein powder is terrific. It's truly fantastic. But he's he became a guy I used to root so hard against. And yes, there was a Boston element.
Yes,
to it,
that's 1,000.
Sure.
It's only the tri-state area people that hate this guy, cuz.
Yeah, but
Everybody
became real
else
likable
loves
to me. He became real likable. Like I don't know why, but he did. Well, I guess maybe just moving. But
I always liked him. I always liked him more than Peyton Manning because.
Really, you were a Brady guy versus.
I was always a Brady guy because of like nothing was handed to this guy. I feel like everything was handed to the Mannings. Like both of them. I mean, Peyton was really fucking good, obviously. Yeah. But like he came into the league, he still hadn't beat Florida. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Tennessee won a national championship the year after he left. Like T. Martin took them to the national. So like it was like Peyton Manning. Like he came in with all this hype, and he lived up to it. He was a great quarterback, but I just thought that like.
You like the 7th round pick. I
like what Brady turned into. I like Steph Curry. Like I like like what he turned into. Like nobody saw him being the greatest shooter of all time. Nobody saw Tom Brady being the greatest quarterback of. Like he turned into that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. For the most part, when like Joe Burrow, we knew he was going to be good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just that element of like turning yourself into the GOAT. For me, that's sick.
Think about that as a cautionary tale and also a motivational tale for athletes, right? The greatest player in the history of the NFL was a 7th round draft pick. Think about that. I mean, like if you're looking for a source of belief and you feel like you've been overlooked and snubbed, I mean, you can't possibly have a better example than the 199th pick of the draft becoming the greatest player in NFL history.
Yeah. It's a great
incredible
thing. It is. It's a great inspirational story, but I don't think there will ever be a person picked that low that we'll ever consider the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Like that won't
and
ever.
I'm saying 7th round, 6th round.
6th round. But I'm just like it's
199th pick, but 6th round. But I mean it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely ridiculous. So see, we well, I do want to ask you real quick, how do you feel about your Raiders head coach, Josh McDaniels?
I mean, I hope it works. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope this works out. I think they hired the GM is from the Patriots camp, too.
Oh, really?
I think so.
They're getting poached right now.
I think so. So, we'll see what happens. I would be interested to see what happens with Derek Carr, like what they're going to do with the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
But
that's how I feel about the Giants' new coach, the Buffalo OC, who everyone thought was so great with Allen. Like seeing how he is with Daniel Jones, I'm like, all right, let's see. But Daniel Jones ain't Josh Allen. So.
I was just about to say, stop it.
Yeah, but I am excited about the coach. I am looking forward to that.
I feel like Buffalo, I don't know what they need to get over the hump.
I know. Well, honestly, like the flip of a coin, right? I mean, they're that close. They're that close.
Fuck, man.
They must be kicking themselves too, seeing then Kansas City lose. Like, oh.
Yeah, because I think I think they beat the Bengals.
I think if they win that game, they win it all.
Yeah, I think they beat the Bengals. So I just feel bad for Josh Allen, man. Like I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see the next couple of years how this all shakes out. It's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, AFC's got so much talent. This was a delightful NFL recap and good fatherly stuff as well. We should let the audience know. Look, you guys know we have new episodes every Thursday, bonus episodes as well. You got to be following us on Spotify. Make sure you're following us on Spotify, or obviously wherever you get your podcasts. You can rate on Spotify now, which is great. We have some big guests coming up. Joe Buck and Aaron Judge over the next couple weeks. So you're going to want to make sure you're locked in, you're following the pod, you stay tuned for that because they're going to be fantastic. And make sure to send in your tweets at R2C2, at CC_Sabathia, at Ryan Ruocco, RYANRUOCCO, for what you think our Super Bowl picks or our playoff picks stakes should be for our bet. What should the stakes be? The winner, whoever gives us the best idea, is going to win an autographed pair of CC's cleats. And we'll have the satisfaction of knowing they steered us in the direction of our bet. So make sure you guys are locked in for that. And for Buck and Judge coming up. Better get on One Tree Hill. Better tell Saya it's time.
Yeah, it's time. For sure.
It's time. All right. Thanks to Devin Manzi, Bobby Wagner, Sadie Zillow, our incredible producing team. They're the best. We love them. You should too. Peace, everybody.
Peace.